I know that we just had some breaking news, which is very, very surprising. So I'm going to throw it over to Tom because this is breaking news as we speak. Let's get it.
Yeah, Bernie Sanders is suspending his campaign for president. That
What?
just broke in the last 10 or 15 minutes here. As we speak right now, and don't switch over, but as we speak, he's doing a live stream with supporters right now, announcing that he's suspending his campaign. This is being reported
Wow.
by Reuters News. And so, yeah, it looks like Bernie sounds like he's dropping out. And, looks like it's going to be Trump versus Biden for sure now.
Wow. That's really
Yeah.
wild to me because I know a lot of people were really hoping for Bernie. A lot of people were gunning for Bernie. But yeah, I guess the numbers weren't doing as well as the numbers weren't doing. He just wasn't making the numbers, I guess,
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
terrible.
I mean, you can't deny that he's changed the face of the Democratic Party. I mean, the
For
future
sure.
of the Democratic Party is probably more along the lines of Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
So, in a way, he still kind of wins. But
Facts.
yeah,
Facts.
yeah,
It like I said, it's pretty crappy. It's pretty crappy that that's real. Which is terrible. It's terrible. All right. But at the same time, his numbers didn't do right or do enough. Or I also think that he upset too many politicians, too many
yeah,
people that he was running against. That I feel like Biden went and just said, "Hey, I know you hate Bernie, so come over here and endorse me because it's going to be up to me and him. So come over here, endorse me so that we can get rid of him." And I think that's what happened. He really upset Warren with that comment. And I feel like it caused a rift between a lot of the candidates against Bernie. But
yeah.
it's
I
pretty
can
bad.
definitely see that. I was a big Bernie supporter back in 2016. I wasn't like a Bernie bro or anything. I was a civil Bernie supporter. But I don't know. I was a Warren supporter this time around, and there is something about, and I have a lot of good friends that are Bernie supporters that are perfectly nice
Yeah.
people, but there seemed to be like a really angry wing of Bernie supporters that just really that really kind of turned me and I think a lot of other people off this time around, where it was like, if last time it was a choice between Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders, it was an either or situation. This time you had so many candidates that,
Yeah.
if somebody's supporters turned you off, you could be like, well, that person's kind of the same and they seem a little more, nice,
Yeah.
softer on the edges. Then, I don't know. That was kind of my thing.
Mm.
But yeah, I don't know.
Interesting. It's
But
go ahead.
his
What?
policies are now his policies that were radical back in 2016 are now mainstream Democrat politics. So,
Maybe he was just too much ahead of his time to the point
yeah,
where now it's kind of old news. The when he was ahead of his time, now he's behind his times. Maybe I don't know. I mean, obviously, I'm not a huge, I'm not a political pundit. I'm not, hugely, I don't dive deep into politics and whatnot. But it is definitely something where it's just, yeah, it's still no matter what. I mean,
yeah.
it's just interesting to see how all this recently has been unfolding. I mean, even Shaniqua on YouTube said this is a coronavirus election, and I kind of agree. Now we're at that
Yep.
place now where it's just kind of like we got to see what the leaders do now, what the candidate, what Biden does, if how he's going to step up to the plate, how Trump steps up to the plate or lack thereof. However you look at it, it's very interesting to see, like right now, Trump really needs to be on his A game, and Biden does too now, apparently. So it's unfortunate. I'm hoping that Biden maybe utilizes Bernie in some sort of way, puts him in part of his team in some sort of way. I think that will help with his votes for sure. And of course, there's a lot of people that are leaning towards Biden because he says he's going to pick a woman of color for his vice president, for his running mate. So I'm interested to see, that helped his votes quite a bit. So I'm interested to see what happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I imagine Bernie will campaign for Biden in states where, Bernie maybe is more popular than Biden. If you remember back in 2016, I think Bernie did something like 50 campaign rallies for Hillary Clinton after he conceded. So, there is this narrative that Bernie Sanders isn't a team player, but, he'll go out and do his due diligence. He doesn't want Trump to be president.
Obviously, with Bernie, his whole thing is like anyone but Trump at this point, So I could see him going like, all right, I endorse Biden 110% because it's better than having Trump in office. You know what I mean? I feel like that's his take, his approach to everything. So I'm interested. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they do, how everything is approached. In the upcoming few months,
Yeah.
Crazy.
That vice president pick is going to be something else. That's arguably more important than who the Democratic nominee is who the Democratic vice president nominee is.
Biden has got to make a very good choice. Now, everybody's going, oh, Mrs. Obama, you know what I mean? We'll see who he chooses, but I don't think it's going to be her. Obviously,
I can't imagine she'd want to do it.
Nah, I don't see it either. But it'll be.
I want it to be Hunter Biden.
A woman of color. Yes, a woman of color. Anyway,
that's called the old nepotism switch.
Right.
Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild.